Alright, welcome back, people. Happy Thursday, everyone. How are you doing? Happy Thursday. Hope you're having a great Thursday. Hope you had a great week. And yes, this is officially the first week in which we stream 3 days, indeed. And we are doing so playing TitanQuest Anniversary Edition. Okay. Let me update the title here and everything. Perfect. There we go. Alright, people. There we go. There, I just updated the title. Magnificent. So, day number 4. Day number 4, as you can see, for TitanQuest Anniversary Edition. Do I have my poison activated? No. There we go. There you can see that it was reserved there with my legendary one hit kill single attack build. Okay. We need some potions first. We need some potions. As I do a little bit of a quick recap, people. As I do a little bit of a quick recap, we have to. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Well, pretty much anywhere. I think it was this one, the last city we actually visited. It was that one, because there we go. The lag should be gone. I've fixed. I think I found the source and fixed it. There we go. Perfect. Perfect. It should be quite smooth. Anyhow, I will have it open here just in case it goes to shit. There we go. Pretty much. Pretty much. There we go. Okay, so people, believe it or not, we made it to the final boss. Or we will make it. We will make it to the final boss soon enough. In a matter of minutes in this stream, precisely. Because we finally finished. Oh, that's pretty much it. We finally finished the base game. Pretty much. As I'll show you on the map right now. So this is my legendary single attack build. It only deals basic attacks. It's quite ingenious. It only enhances basic attacks. You don't use any abilities. I don't know what this shit may be because I don't have a pet yet. I don't have a pet. I don't know how you have a pet in this game, how you get a pet. That's something that I still haven't analyzed myself, in that sense, that I haven't taken a look at myself. The potions here. So we'll need 100 potions to keep going, more or less. I should probably buy more so I don't have to come back and to go back and forth between the shop and progressing with the game. So this time we'll buy a bit more so I don't have to constantly come back. So we'll make it to that, pretty much. I should do it. 176. That's a nice number. So pretty much we made it to the end of the game. In one day we did all of Greece and we started Egypt. In the second day we finished Egypt, and in the third day, well, here I got a bit lost, as you can see. I got a bit lost here. I missed some portals because it was pretty much like a speed run in that sense. It was an unintentional speed run of it because I want to get to legendary difficulty and unlock the Embers expansion. In the third day, basically between the second and the third day, I did this region, the Orient region, and we made it to Olympus, which is pretty much the ending of the game. So we are going to face Typhon, the Titan, which is pretty much the final boss of the game. It's pretty much the final boss of the game in four days of streaming, and it wasn't that much. It was 3 hours each. Pretty much, I finished the game on epic difficulty without farming at all. So I can say, people, that I am deeply proud of my build of my skill tree here, as you can see. It enhances, and I have 5 unused skill points. So if it gets out of hand, I will actually distribute them. I'm reserving them for now. So which one? I think uncommonly good fortune provides a chance that calculated strikes will slip past the enemy, but no, but it's this one. No, it's related to that one. Lethal multiply damage. This one reserves mana, right? This one reserves mana. I think. I think this one should be. I should add a second mana reserve, in that sense. I know, but it has an 8-second recharge. It's not constant. What about this one? Adds a chance for poison to cloud an enemy's mind, sending them into a state of confusion. See, people, I thought about everything 10 years ago. You know that I'm using this. This build was designed by me 10 years ago. in that sense, I was mentioning it last time. This one is 1 active energy cost per second. Okay. And it clouds your opponent, sending them into a state of confusion. Fumble attacks and confusion. This probably mitigates damage, so will be quite good. When active, this skill ensures that any blade weapons used by yourself and allies will remain razor sharp and inflict increased precision. I could also go for this one. I could also go for this one. This is a passive. Or no, 50 energy reserve. Okay. Okay, we need to pay another energy reserve there. Okay. Throwing knife. Disarm traps. Okay. 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 Perfect. Rogue Mastery, Warfare Mastery. I'll focus here on Rogue Mastery, or provides a chance to counterattack an enemy after being hit in battle rage. Each enemy hit has a chance of sending you into a range of battle. As bonus damage. Oh, we will have plenty of options to make the build even more effective. I will not bore you with that, as I've already taken 10 minutes. So let's get to the final part of it. Sorry, people, that I got lost. I get lost in thought when I analyze those things. So, you know, this is Laser Gameplay, people. I don't analyze the game. Level 62, this is going to be a challenge. Especially because these guys don't bleed. No, 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 no. Let me get out of there. These guys don't bleed. That's a problem. That's a problem. I'm already exhausted from the previous battle. There we go. See that these ones are bleeding. So it's not a problem. Level 60, we are at a huge disadvantage, I guess. But this is what I was mentioning about Dragon's Online. See that even if I am several levels behind, I can still be effective in combat. You look at that, people. I'm still effective in combat. So, let's go. Pretty much. Here. There we go. Yeah, they don't believe, definitely. I think... I don't know if I'm life-stealing from them. I think I'm life-steal from them. I think you can't life-steal from them. But something was dealing damage over time there. Something. I don't know what, but it was. So you can see they are levels 58, 62. And they don't cannot be poisoned, so that's... Ah, those ones can't bleed. Good, yes, targets that can't bleed. And can be poisoned and can suffer life-stealing. Yeah, there are several levels above me, but that won't be a problem. As long as I can bleed and be poisoned. That was fast. Hey, wait. I cannot see the loot. What's the meaning of this? There we go. The loot. The loot, the loot, the loot. The loot. No, it's all command quality. I already activated the filter for command quality. I already activated the filter. But as soon as I deactivate the the nameplates of the loot and activate them again, damn it. Damn, they stun. Stupid stuns. Stupid stuns. No, don't stun me. Don't stun me. Don't stun me. Stupid stamps. No, no more. I did it yesterday, District. I added the day that you asked me yesterday. No, I did it yesterday. I did 5 hours yesterday, District. I did it yesterday, and no, it's not like that. I beat Baylor yesterday, precisely. No, no. I added the day that you asked me yesterday. I did 5 hours. No, Dietrich, no. Oh, you managed to beat? Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, I did 5 hours. No, precisely because how was the fight? I did it first try. I did it first try. Ambra, precisely. Another Polish viewer, precisely. Um, gave me the skill tree after I beat it, and after that, I began to learn a lot of things about the game. He told me that at maximum 10 stacks of the frost wind, it increases the damage, and because of that, I managed to be more efficient in combat. No, no, I did 5 hours, and I'm from no, no. I added the day that you asked me precisely about. Yeah, yeah. No, I already told you, District. I don't stop playing the game until I can get to the final analysis. And if the game then has even some more things to offer, I can play it. No, don't worry. You really like my analysis of it in that sense because you asked me for the extra day. Tomorrow we have new story map in Drakensang. Okay, okay. I needed to ask you the part in which you told me that I can expand the inventory, that I have kind of like the chance of expanding the inventory. We have the patch. That part, um, will it be up until Tuesday of next week? In that sense, will it be up until Tuesday of next week? Like when I can actually play it, or will I have to? Is it like limited to this weekend? And by the time I stream on Tuesday, it won't be up, and I will have to still deal. It's in 7 days. The anime perfect. So next week. Perfect, perfect. And how much does it last? Is my. You will have 30 days. Perfect. Magnificent. 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 The second thing is that another viewer yesterday told me, new viewer, told me that you actually need to be level 100. How would I be able to do it? Because otherwise, I really want to finish with this curse of the inventory because it's driving me crazy. With only one bag of the inventory is driving me crazy. If not, I already have the undermanned, like for the 3 slots. If not, I already have. I just made it past the threshold of 10k or 12k. I think it was. Otherwise, I will just pay it and be done. You don't need 100. It's just that the rewards are different if you are a low level, but you will still get the inventory. Okay, the inventory is in the bed. Perfect, perfect, perfect. All right, all right. Then I will tell it to the people because they didn't know that. Okay, perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay, 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 okay. Okay, you don't need to be 100, but I will be able to somehow beat it. Like, not because I can help you with the. Ah, okay, okay. So you get them. Okay, 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 okay. Got it, got it, got it. Got it, got it, got it. Well, thank you. You are always so kind. District. I hope I never um, told you this um, precisely. Hope the analysis and the reviews I do are enjoyable for you. Besides my company and etc. Because then I really don't like that I am consuming your time, like doing the like helping me farm and those things, and then maybe the reviews and the analysis are boring and those things. So I hope they are enjoyable. Yes, well, that's glad to hear because in that sense, I don't want to bore anyone with the metaphysics and the crazy stuff. I like them. Okay, okay, okay. Okay, well, thank you, District. I wanted to verify that because then I say, poor guy, he ask me to review that one. As you said, the game has an amazing community and everything, and I just consume really your time doing the helping me. I think Flag Energies called it a caring at lower level. In that sense, you the only one so far doing this analysis for Drakensang. It well, yeah. The thing is that well, you know it better than me probably. You know it better than me probably, but generally. When a lot of people watch, most of the audience that watches gameplay or those things, they really do not have or don't care about having an attention span for the type of content I do. So in that sense, um, I know that my analysis, my reviews have a high ceiling, let's say, a high ceiling of you know uh, being tolerable for how modern trends are. Like five. You know that the modern trend is pretty much 5 second TikTok or Instagram videos in that sense. So pretty much. Uh, Getting into a stream in which I don't know you expect I don't know either generally it's either competitive gameplays from things like Fortnite and etc like high level or something like I don't know really hardcore stuff rather than something more analytic and logical that I do in that sense. So yeah. Besides doing game reviews, I don't know if it happens to you. I also started doing game reviews because of how terrible the official, let's say, gaming portals were, like IGN, Metacritic, and etc. I felt that didn't they didn't really care about getting to the reality of what the game represented at all, like at all, in that sense. They didn't give a damn about about the game in that sense. So yeah, that's the reason. Yeah. I do the reviews, and I am forgetting also about Diablo Immortal that you also need. My original idea was to give you the third day for Diablo Immortal, but since you asked for Drakensang, I said, well, let's do Drakensang in that sense. I did yesterday, precisely. Okay, okay, people. Um, this is Typhon. This is the final boss of the original Titan quest. As you can see, he drains your mana, and I need to be very careful to beat it. This one, see, I was talking about not doing hardcore things and terrible stuff, and this is one of them. So let me focus a bit, because this guy is a beast. As you can see, he's level 66, above me, but if I remember correctly, when I beat this beast on normal difficulty, I drain the mana. He deals all types of damage, as you can see there. There we go. No. He drains the mana. No, I drain the mana. He drains life, poison, and everything. Use the statues there. But if I can drain the mana... Disruptive, can't use abilities. Damn it. He will eventually run out of attacks, of special attacks. And with that... As you can see, the damage over time is doing its job. This is what another viewer asked me the other day. This is my legendary basic attack build. I need to be careful there. Sorry, I didn't rate the fight with Baylor from 1 to 10. What soup with the statuses? You mean here, what's going on? The statuses, disrupted means that you cannot use abilities. Basically here, I'll show you. Here, yeah. Well, basically, here I'll give you an introduction. This is a game that I've been citing. You probably saw me citing it. First, the Baylor fight from 1 to 10. I think it was... I couldn't discern the mechanic, but they had different colors. What does it mean? It means... The red one means life steal. The blue one means mana steal. The lightning one means lightning damage. It's just an attack with lightning damage. Like there was one that was blue that he kind of like sucked like a vacuum with his breath. That one is mana steel. The lightning is lightning damage. Here I'll show you my resistances. Here, as you can see, where here my character. Here you can see I have zero lightning resistance. I have cold, fire resistance, the meteors, piercing resistance. This is for the basic attacks he does. Otherwise, he would one hit kill me. I am level 55. I am like 11 levels below it, so it tells you how good my skill tree is. A bleeding resistance, and basically the attacks are so you can get a buff from them or why the statuses are there. I am not sure. I don't know if you can get a buff, but at least they work like as elements to block some of the area of effects attacks if you know how to dodge. What I am doing, if yeah, right, it's quite subtle. You probably couldn't see it. My attacks this is a special build. This is the build that I did back when I played the game 10 years ago. First of all, the Valor fight was quite good. I didn't know what it was that the armor kind of like got from gray to red, up to red. I didn't know what that was. I did it first try, and pretty much I used Patrix, another friend of the channel from Hungary, uh, build in the wisdom skill tree, and that helped me survive the attacks. And I would rate it a solid. It was quite good. I liked it because it spawned a monster, but it didn't have as many mechanics as the other ones. I would rate it a 7, 6.5 because it didn't do a lot of area of effect attacks that could like get all of the terrain. That's why I like the one about Nefertari. I loved. I think it was on Tuesday. That one I loved it on Tuesday. The Nefertari one. It was quite similar to Callus in that sense. The reaction times that it demanded from the player were quite fast, quite fast. So here, basically, this build, as you can see here, with this with this ability that I have here, this is the game that I've been telling you that is quite similar to Drakensang Online. But just so you see the difference. For example, here I have two skill trees, right? But see, this is what I presume the Drakensang devs based the skill tree on, but didn't copy this mechanic. You can see that I cannot access the higher tiers of the skill tree if first I don't spend points on the mastery, on the base mastery of it. I can only access up until this line here. In my case, it doesn't matter. Really looks like TitanQuest. Yes, that's why. Bet you can see now why I was surprised. The skill tree of Dragon. Yes. Bet you can see why I was quite surprised when I saw it. This is my skill tree from 10 years ago. Like back when I played this game. In that sense, as you can see, you can see that I have no abilities really. I had another a player of TitanQuest the other day asked me, "What the fuck? You have no abilities?" Indeed. Um, Basically, I use this, which replaces the basic attack, which is this active ability, and then I activate this poison from the Rogue Mastery here. It deals poison damage, and it reserves 50% of my energy there. You can see it there. And basically, it's just basic attacks. My basic attacks do the following, thanks to my gear as well. This is my gear from my normal run. I'm playing this on epic difficulty, which is like the second tier, to access the Embers expansion, which is the only one that I couldn't play because you have to reach the third difficulty, which is a legendary. You need to beat this final boss, and I think it will demand of me one more short expansion. I don't know if it will be IT, Immortal Throne, or Ragnarok. Basically, one more expansion. So this is the predecessor of Grimdawn. And as you can see, I do very fast attack speed. They are all very fast. There you can see up there that is a very fast weapon there. But not only that, as you can see, it slows my basic attacks deal bleeding, poison damage, lifesteal, mana steal. They also pierce armor, and they slow down enemies like that. And pretty much, yeah, I think that's all they do. And pretty much the idea is that I only use basic attacks. I don't use any other ability. You can play with abilities in this game, but I love this build as the single target damage is quite high. The problem is that I'm quite fragile. I'm like a fragile glass cannon. So, but if I can beat this one at 11 levels above me, here I will reclaim my experience. It's like Dark Souls in that sense. I think you can, maybe with this one you can interact. Yeah, with that one you get extra boosts. Maybe, I guess you should. Frostbite Shrine. Yeah, you get the boost there. Frostbite Shrine. I couldn't read it, but as you can see, it doesn't matter if it kills you in one blow. Don't worry, people. My high damage will deal with it. I just need to focus a bit, and I should be able to deal with it pretty much. But yeah, as you could see, well, at least my surprise of how difficult it was, of how similar the skill tree was to Drakensang when I saw it. So yes, my build will prevail, people. My build will prevail. I assure you of that. Because of the high damage, it won't matter. That I am. Then I have a backup plan to not be that much fragile. Yeah, they don't do anything. See that you're gonna consume it. They give you a boost, but it's just very occasional. It won't save you. There's the mana. That's the mana drain. That's the health drain, as you can see. Those are fire damage, meteors, lightning damage, fire damage again. Oh well, the meteors maybe are physical, and the green one is poison damage, of course. So, darn it, it's a one-hit kill. I need to wait for the meteor. The meteor, I can stack up the damage over time once I avoid the basic attacks of it. That's the idea. All right, people. I need to focus. Then I can see if we need another expansion or anything. I need to focus on this one. To really focus. That one is poison. Mana drain. Life drain. All right, it has a range. There we go. I just need to touch him. Touch him and go. There, you can see it's draining the mana. Perfect. And the disruption, of course, cancels my abilities. No. There we go. Yeah, the thing is that you shouldn't try this 11 levels above yours. There. The lifesteal is the one that deals the most damage. Shit. And the fire. And the fire. And the fire. And the fire. Of course the fire as well. What a beast. Yeah, I remember my first try against this guy was absolutely terrible. The first time, it's always brutal, but even more if you do it like 11 levels above you. Like, this is absolutely crazy. Okay, so the fire and the lifesteal are the most dangerous. Don't worry, the damage over time will do its job. It is doing its job. So much damage over time he also has. That one, yeah, that one is quite long. See, it's all damage over time. It's incredible. Just need to touch him some few times, and my crazy damage will compensate for the 11 levels. He's also slowing me down. No, it's way too much damage over time. I'll need to stack that damage over time until I can kill it. That's the idea. It will slowly leech the health. Yeah, people, don't try these 11 levels above on epic difficulty like I'm doing. At least farm a bit. Don't be like me and do epic difficulty in 3 days. Farm a bit. Farm a bit so at least you are close to the level. Okay. But I don't mind. Oh, there. It also slows down my attacks. Also, I need to... If I can die far away from him, it's better to reclaim the experience. Aha. That one is brutal, the life steal. Disruption. Poison, mana steal, lightning. This one has to be physical. Nice. There, I avoided the basic attack, which also disrupts and slows you down. Life and mana steal. No. Just need to touch. Just need to touch him a bit. I'm barely able to touch it. There we go. No. Bad move. Bad. Terribly bad move. Terribly bad move. When he does that life steal and the fire has to be avoided. And I have resistance, huh? I have a 35% fire resistance, but it's not enough. It's not fucking enough. In that sense, it's not fucking enough. Come on, people, we can do it. We can do it, people. We just need to... I just need to focus on it. I took a good chunk of his health. I brought him to 50%. Where did I die? Where's my tomb? There we go. That life steal. Fuck. What? Spines? That's probably retaliation damage as well. The damage over time, the bleeding and the poison will do their job. Spines, I bet that's retaliation damage. You cannot damage it. Careful. That life steal. I wish I had that ranged life steal, people. Mana steal. Fire. That one. No. There we go. Damage over time is doing its job. Fire. Spikes. No. Wait for the spines to dissipate. Avoid the fire. Avoid. Back again. Avoid. Spines. Or thorns, I don't know. No, it's not thorns, it's like... Here. Is it me or he makes his way around the statues eventually? Fire. You can see there that the poison is doing its job. The poison, the bleeding, everything. The damage over time. That was close. Move it. Only one hit is enough because of my build. There we go. So it's ramping up faster. No. Get out of there. Get out of there. Get out of there. That life steal is lethal. He's regaining life as well when he does that. That's why I have to avoid it at all costs. There we go. Now we are in the loop. The correct loop to learn the mechanics. Shit. There, that combo of the fire plus a lifesteal. See that my damage is also mitigating his lifesteal. That's the key. I don't know what hit me there, honestly. I honestly don't know what hit me there. No, what's that? That poison? I think it was the poison there. Almost. Get out of there. Shit. I love how the developers compensated the fact that the monster does not regenerate health on its own, but rather it steals it from you, as well as the mana. Like, that ensures that the boss fight is always challenging, regardless of the difficulty. But it won't help him against my bleeding and my poison. There, that was retaliation damage or some shit. That one. Not so fast. Fire damage. No, fire plus poison, no. Shit. That was close. Shit. That was really close, people. my god. Don't worry. There, I got the mechanics. Then you know that you can come back and try it like first try. But just so you see how well designed this boss fight is. Like, it doesn't matter how good the player might be. In my case, I'm doing it 11 levels up below it. It's absolutely stupid and crazy, and no one would normally do this. They would farm before doing this, but here you can see how the lifesteal and the mana steal ensure that the boss remains challenging regardless of the difficulty. The poison, that poison, I need to avoid that poison as well. So every attack needs to be evaded. If you don't evade every single attack, you're as good as dead. Basically, that's the idea. Don't worry. Don't worry. The bleeding and the poison will eventually do their job. I also love that the game is an allegory of the strength of man of men in general, of us humans, in the face of adversity against mythical odds, let's say, against mythical creatures, against magic, let's say, because really it's like that. All of the classes in here, they really don't. They're not like special super gods that do crazy magic and those things. As you can see, it's like a classic Greek legend, old school way. I love that about the game. And that no one helps you. Like, at the end of the day, I love the message of the game. That is that the strength of the human race as a whole. Against impossible odds like this, but in that sense. Like, it doesn't give you any fantasy element in favor of the protagonist of the story. It's quite weird to see in a lot of games. Nowadays they just alright, you are the Nephilim. Diablo 3, this is. You are the Nephilim, you are a demigod or some shit like that. So no. Here, it's not like that. I love that about this game. About the storyline of this game. I think it's a quite nice philosophical message in that sense. Only one touch is what I need, and you'll see that the health bar is almost gone. Yeah, it's a retaliation damage. He has only one attack that gives you an opening. The rest, ooh, look at that mana drain there. Without mana, I cannot poison him. Oh, that fire got through the statues. Okay. He gets through the statue. Could it be that he's enraged? That fire dealt a bit more of damage. Oh, no, the poison. So... that poison activates after the life drain. I love how they did that sequence. But no, yeah, people, never try these at 11 levels above yours. I'm doing something quite stupid now that I think of it. I'm doing something quite stupid. But no, I want to get to the Embers expansion. Then I can farm. I can farm on legendary difficulty. Let me reclaim that. Damn it. The arc is so wide. The arc of that lifesteal is so wide. So difficult to avoid. Shit. Yeah, it's half my health, that hit. Nope. Retaliation. Look at that. Look at how that poison. Shit. Bad move. Get out of there. Bad move. Terribly bad move. Bad move, player. Damn it. The arc is so wide. I'll find an opening. Well, I could barely see that. I'm running out of potions. There we go. I think it's over. There we go. It's over. 11 levels up, you people. 55 versus 66. Epic difficulty.
Hail, mighty hero.
Oof.
Zeus, king of the Olympian
Shit, it took me 43 minutes.
eternally thankful for your
Fuck.
aid in stopping
Well.
Typhon.
Well, at least you had a good pull.
Would have ever thought that a human could defeat a titan.
See what I told you about the philosophy of the
Epic
game.
heroes would kneel before you.
Poof.
They shall. The conduit between our realms was destroyed. You have proven that men are
See what I
ready to
told you,
become
people.
the masters of their own fates. Your mortal world is not yet safe, but the responsibility now is yours.
Poof.
Greatest of heroes, there is much left to be done.
Nicely done. See why I love this game as well? Has a nice little ending there. Well, this is the base game. So, can I unlock legendary difficulty now? Here. Mysterious portal, let's go. Yes. And look at that, 14. I bought 176 potions and I ended up with 14. So, that was also quite properly calculated. Oof, it took me 43 minutes to do the boss fight. Okay, people,
I am blind, but I see. I see.
now, next thing we need to do.
Journey awaits. Your deeds above have created strife below.
Yeah.
You must find your way to where all men are destined. Else many of the greatest shall be lost. Seek the sorceress of the Ixian wood. Only she can show you the way.
Okay, there we go. Now,
The sorceress of the Ixian wood.
now,
Doom.
give me a second. Let me unlock the portal here. Let me unlock the portal. And I need to know if I need to complete either the Ragnarok or the Immortal Throne expansion to access Legendary difficulty and the Embers expansion. There we go. We save all of these. Give me a sec. So let me exit to the main menu. There, now that I've unlocked the next portal, pretty much. And now it's still not unlocked. Of course, now I need to, if I remember correctly, to unlock Legendary in the Legacy, in the Enhanced Edition, I need to beat Ragnarok expansion. The problem is, okay, let me check the map now. Okay, so base game done. Now I need either Immortal Throne or Ragnarok expansion. Let me check, because I think no, Atlantis. No, Atlantis is only there. It unlocked Atlantis, no, but here... Ah, damn it. Alright. We need Ragnarok expansion. And for that I need to get through Hades first. Damn it. Poof. Alright. It shouldn't take me more than 2 streams. 2 streams, and I should be able to unlock it. Really quick run. Anyways, I think only Hades' final boss fight is more brutal than Typhon. And I still had some points reserved there. Ah, this is my vault. Look at these people. I have all of my stuff here. See how big it is. All Diablo 2, precisely Drakensang. They should all have inventories like this. Look at this. Look at this. This is from my normal difficulty run. It's so convenient. Okay, people. We will... I used up all of my potions, of course. That was a huge waste of money that I need to somehow... Armor of the Tempest, Gold Lining, Strength, Resistance, Thunderbolt... No. No. It's quite good but for another class. Let me sell that, let me sell that, let me sell that. Slow type of damage, slow type of damage. No. I like fast damage. There we go. I don't know if there's any recorded kill over at YouTube of someone beating Typhon 11 levels below it. Yes, the side quest there. Okay, so we will get through Hades. We'll get, well, through Hades. Through the nether world of Greece in that sense. We'll do that. We'll do that. And, real fast. It shouldn't take me more than something. I think that one stream for Hades, and in the next one we should be able to reach the Northlands. 57. See that the levels went down? See how fast they die? I love how the game, just like precisely like Drakensang, like Diablo, it concentrates the difficulty there in the bosses. In that sense, pretty well done. Let me check the... how was the... Yeah, here it was with tab. Okay. I think here... Yes, you have to reach precisely. New adventures away. Wait.
Fancy meeting you in a place like this. You are the one who opened that fascinating portal in the Temple of Hatshepsut, are you not? Let me introduce...
This one is for Atlantis, I think. This one is for Atlantis. No, not Atlantis, because that won't unlock the difficulty. Okay, here, through the coast of the beach here. Through here, people. Through here. So I was asked the other day about the skill tree that, as you can see, I think it proved more than enough how good it is. I just need a bit more of defense But it's incredible that a build that I created 10 years ago, I didn't use a guide. I did back then. There were no guides. There were, but not about old school, like obscure games like this one. In that sense, um, it's incredible that a build that I created 10 years ago is now beating enemies 10 levels above it. Like, it stood the test of time. That's something that we can definitely say. So, sadly, I think I'll be forced to go through Hades and... But at the pace I'm killing, it should be quite fast at the pace I'm killing. Besides, it shouldn't take long because at the pace that I'm killing this game, the build has proven to be quite noble, quite well designed. The other day, precisely, uh, I was asked about it because it was quite unusual. Because as you can see, I don't use abilities. It's all channeled through the basic attack. Like in that sense, let me first. Do I have any attributes? No, not even attributes because I didn't level up. What I could do to mitigate being so squishy, because the damage is already good, I could go for either this one. I see I left it ready 10 years ago. I left everything ready 10 years ago, people. see how see how I knew something like that would happen. Hey, Flying Energies, how's it going? Was it? That's an X? Ah, that's from the Spanish event. That X is from the Spanish event. How you doing, Flying Energies? They're from the Spanish event where they box. There. Yeah. don't tell me you like watching those ones. Yeah, that's the Spanish event. Where they box and they do that crazy stuff. But you watch it in because it's in Spanish. You watch it in Spanish, or is it translated to English at least? You saw the recent news about the three eye atlas. They managed to look at it better since it's close. The satellite that you mentioned to me, district that was launched. Give me a second here. I'll tap for a sec. The one that you mentioned to me. I was just curious because he had a lot of follower and he and got the budget. Yeah, well, yeah, it's it's a thing in which they kind of like famous Spanish streamers box each other like crazy um, for fame and those things. Indeed, and just that. Yeah, apparently it's a comet with water ice. The one that they were yeah, the message was held because of the word followers, so the bots wouldn't bother me. Here, let me see if I can because I want to. Apparently, a comet with ice water, um, but the water district, of course, it was frozen because of the low temperature of precisely deep space. But the water was it kind of like earth water, like frozen, but like consumable by microorganisms, by microorganisms, by the bacteria in that sense. Or was it like space things or shit? Here, let me a second because I will put the game on borderless so I can, because it's in full screen and I have to do these stupid alt tabs and I'm sick of that shit. So I will switch it to borderless. Give me a second. Give me a second. I'll change it to borderless there. I'll switch it to borderless there if I can. The carbon dioxide and the carbon monoxide, which are the three most abundant icy constitutions in our solar systems. Okay, okay. So it was like our like our water in that sense. It was like our water in that sense. All right, 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 all right. Nice. But okay, perfect. So It will be interesting, you know what district, to know the trajectory. The trajectory of the... Sorry, I know that you cannot see it there for a second. There. That should do it. This way I should be able to do it without that bothering. Like that. Can I move the cursor out? Yeah, perfect. Perfect there. Much better. It's a very interesting comment. Yeah. So the trajectory will be interesting, district, if you ask me, because as I told you, I think I mentioned it to you how life was born in the planet. Like those comets, we all. This is quite. I think I didn't mention it to you the other day. Technically, all minerals in our bodies. See how interesting it is, people. They are derived from the space dust of those comets that collide. That's why I asked you about the trajectory. Because once they start colliding, they form the rocks, let's say the rocks, the huge masses of rocks that are our planets. And there, the bacteria start at the core. And then after that, the most important organisms derived from the bacteria, which are the ones at the bottom of the sea, are created. And then the fish. You know that our spine, the one that we have like here at our backs, was an evolution from fishes. True, it's an evolution from fishes, the spine. The fishes, those is first the bacteria, then the fishes. That's how this has already been more or less figured out. It's first the bacteria, first the subatomic particles, of course, and the bacteria, then the fishes at the bottom of the sea, and then the spine, like the like the ones that we have in our backs, like here. Pretty much our main bone is derived from those fishes, because then those fishes evolved into into other creatures that reached the coast, pretty much. Then they became like instead of water animals, earth animals. Eventually the monkeys, and eventually then us. And I know what anyone could think in this moment. I know that you think about all these things, that the Drakensang developers didn't evolve from that stage. No, bad. That's bad. They are doing a huge effort to go through the game. No, but it is quite fascinating. I would love to know the trajectory of the comet, because in that sense, depending on where it will collide, it is highly probable that that's where life might be. But the problem is that what we are watching happened several light speed years ago. By the time we are watching it, that's a terrible thing, District. In that sense, that's a terrible thing.
I think we can stop one more wave.
That's a terrible thing that that happens. That when we see it, it already happened. We know fish and other sea animals exist on other planets, 100%. There are already. I didn't know that. Like they've already found fish animal, like water animals. 100%. There are many water planets, but we don't know if any intelligent life exists. That's the thing. No, but fish, you saw it. You saw it on any stream or video, like already evolved fish, like the ones that we have here, or is it like deduction? Can you see the fish? Can I see the fish in that sense, like the image, or is it like deduction that the scientists are doing for now? Because so far I knew that we could get microorganisms, but not full-grown animals. No. But give me a second. No. But it is confirmed. It is confirmed in that sense. There we go. It is confirmed that they exist on other planets that are in the habitat zone of the Kevlar planets. Well, pretty much precisely. In the habitat zone of the Kevlar planet, precisely, is the gold zone in which you can have enough heat for life to exist. In that sense. Okay. No, but it is confirmed. Okay. So they confirmed it like that. Okay. Okay, so it's in the habitat zone. Okay. Yeah, Kevlar planets may have life. They do, but I thought it was only bacteria, not fish. Not fish in that sense. But it is confirmed that the life already exists. Okay, like beyond microorganisms. Quite curious. Hey, District, I never asked you why, because you know it's not something common. I know, hell if I know. Well, from bacteria life is starting. Yeah. The I'm curious. How did you develop the hobby or the passion for space? Because it's not that common, you know. Like in my case, I can assure you that over at law school, for example, no one really did pay attention to that. Facebook, more or less. You got it through. You got into it through Facebook. Okay. Like from posts of people that drew your attention. When I go to sleep, I get many news about planets and life. Yes. Okay. Well, in my case, you know what it was when I had to prepare for a. Well, I never told you about my law school years. I think I didn't tell anyone about them. Before going to an exam, my exams were you know that first I studied as English teacher. I got the certificates, etc. That was something that I liked. I really didn't like studying law as lawyer. I never worked as lawyer. That's why I still like working as English teacher and then now software developing in that sense. And I also, but most of my, I really don't need because of my family. I most of the time just help my family with their, let's say, local business that they do. That's pretty much the main source of income. In that sense, um, so, so you good English teacher. English is so good, says this chicken smile. Well, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. Well, you know that you practice. I can't even speak it. Like, no, but district, consider this. I was like trained, like I even took accent suppression classes. Like I'm trained since I was 7. Like I make mistakes. I do make mistakes. You can see that even the other day I was chatting with Patrick and yeah. You can see that I don't have a Spanish accent. For example, in Spanish, the R is not like no, but no, it takes in my case, since I was 7 and I'm 29, and I had an intensive training. Like I sat for the CAE, the certificate in advanced English that Patrick asked me about the other day. That he also wanted to. He asked me about the first certificate, and I sit for that one at 18. At 17, 18. Like I turned 18 in between I did the exam and the result, like and ask anyone, and that's absolutely. My teacher thought I wouldn't pass it. In the end, she was quite surprised. She was quite surprised because everyone around me when I sat for the exam was 22, 23, and I passed the exam not with a perfect qualification. I passed it with a C, but because of the age, I didn't have any practice. I practiced 1 year, 1 year. So and it was brutal. The exam then, if anyone sat for the CAE or the first certificate, it was brutal. It was one of the, but I didn't feel like that because I liked speaking in English. You know what, I'm an Anglophile. I admire the there's a cultural aspect to it. I'm an Anglophile. I admire the British monarchy a lot. I'm a monarchist in that sense. Since a very young age, it was absolutely natural, not a problem of propaganda or anything like that. I always thought that monarchy was more stable than a republic democracy in that sense. A constitutional monarchy, I mean, not a tyranny. I always admire that the United Kingdom is the only example of lasting 1,000 years, besides of course, the Roman Empire, but we were talking about older history. But no, I was mentioning to you that, well, I did the English career, the English career. I teach in English and everything, and I love working as that. But then at law school, I really didn't like it. I really didn't like it. I didn't really like law, but I wanted a college university degree, and I was terrible at math. I've always been terrible at math. Terrible. If I put in a lot of effort, I can do it, but it takes more effort than something that is natural for me. So I did that, and before an exam, before an exam, before an exam, since they were all oral exams in over at law school, all oral exams in front of everyone, 120 people roughly per exam, sometimes 90, sometimes 100, more or less it was that. I watched videos about space. And before the exam, and that would calm me in that sense. Classes that you have you as a teacher will learn English. Well, thank you, District. You're making me blush, District. You're making me blush, District. You're making me blush. Well, yeah, in that sense, it takes years, but know this. Practice your English. For example, I think it's highly beneficial for all of you that you watch me streaming in English, like with me chatting for several hours, because that makes your brain used to the correct pronunciation. I see. Yeah. I watched the videos about space and everything. I discovered it because otherwise I would get nervous because they were exams like quite inquisitive. I didn't like it. I ended up with an average of 8 out of 10, even in a career that I didn't like. Even in a career that I didn't like. And before an exam, I was much better at written exams. And they were all oral in that sense. So, with all of those disadvantages, really, I watched the videos about space to calm myself a bit before the exam. The day before the exam, I wouldn't study. I would watch videos about space, because that would remind me how futile, how um, minuscule at the end of the day uh, sitting for an exam was. And it worked quite well. Because out of 53 subjects, I only failed 3 exams, and they were the hardest subjects, and only once. Then at the next time, I passed the 3 of them. But 3 out of 53, I think it was a quite good overall score for me, because I hated the career. In that sense, I hated it. It didn't. I knew it didn't pay well, and etc. So yeah, I just wanted to prove I could get a college degree. I could basically uh, beat any challenge that was presented to me, even with oral exams that I was. You would be surprised, District. I was, and I am quite. Even you, because you all see me talk like for 3-4 hours here, and you may get the wrong idea. I'm quite reserved and shy in that sense. I really generally don't speak to random people generally if they don't start a conversation and they're kind of like kind and those things in that sense. But well, thank you. You make me blush about the, the English. I also make mistakes. You can see that. For example, the other day I was chatting with Patrick and Phantom. We were talking about drugs in Europe. They told me that the situation was quite tough, both in Hungary and Greece, that they are from, with about the drugs and those things. Um, and for example, I made a mistake. I said the front left lobule of the brain instead of lobe, because in Spanish it's more similar to that word, to lobule, instead of lobe. But in English it's lobe. Then I searched for it. But even in 4 hours, I make mistakes. That's one thing. And the other thing is that uh, know that it's highly beneficial it's highly beneficial because when you practice a different language than your original one, precisely your first language, you use a different part of the brain. You are using different parts of your brain. The different languages use different parts of the brain. For example, all Romance languages, like all derived from Latin, like French, Italian, Spanish, Portuguese, they all use a different part of the brain when compared to, I don't know, Slavic derived languages. I don't know, like for example, Patrick told me that Hungarian for him is a sixth hardest, or for you in your case, it's Romanian. It's the own language in that sense. Uh, they use different parts of the brain, and English is in the Germanic derived ones, like from Dutch. English derives from Dutch originally. When they were migrating to and discovering the Anglo-Saxon in that sense. So well, you make me blush, you make me blush about that. Everyone learns perfectly English as I teach them if they're in my classes. So yeah, pretty much. But well, no, a lot of people. This is a mistake that most people do. First, they want to. What I see in students, they want to speak. Thumbs up, thumbs up. Yeah. Well, district. Yeah, pretty much. Know that you use a different part of your brain when you speak English or you listen to English like that, and that's absolutely amazing because it trains your brain. It makes the cortex more elastic. This is this is real. It makes the cortex more elastic of the brain. It also depends how young you are, the impact of it. But if you learn it since you are young, it makes the cortex more elastic and more efficient. It's absolutely. Me, I never learned English in school because the teachers were bad. I learned by playing games, but I can type it and speak it like 80, no, 60%. No, it's a feat. It's a feat learning through that. Learning in that sense, video games and movies have had, I think, an amazing impact. I also had to watch movies as part of my training. In that sense, first with subtitles, of course, when you are way too young. Yes, video games and movies. Yes, indeed. I think they have had. My teacher told it to me because it was pretty much the time in which it was booming, let's say, in which the world was beginning to embrace digital media, and in that sense, as English teacher, I think it has had. If there's one positive impact of, that I don't use social media, district. That's why I included it in the honor plaque there because I never use social media and I don't have any social media. You can only find me here and at YouTube. You can see that I don't have any social media at all because I think it makes human relationships less very shallow, very shallow. Really, no? And Discord. Well, and the Discord. Yeah, the Discord. Poor, the poor guys over at Discord. Sorry, Crowbar, Pekarin, that, and Silas from yesterday as well. No, yeah, and Discord. Well, I don't know if Discord would classify. It classifies as social media because it's technically private. It's technically quite private though. Like you need to know the person. He needs to admit you into the server. Like trust you a bit. You know that I got my account hacked at Discord, not now. When I started the channel, I got my account hacked. Some cryptocurrency guys tried to take over my Discord server because I didn't have two-factor authentication. Because as I'm telling you, yeah, I have no. And you're not the only one. We all got the account hacked once. You got it. The same happened to you. Cryptocurrency was it? Was it cryptocurrency? District. Please tell me it didn't happen to. Yes, same. Flying energy. No shit. And with yeah, shit. God damn it. God damn it. Well, I don't know if I should feel better about not being the only one that happened to him, or bad about how shitty the security was. You know that since I you're going to have a laugh probably. Since I didn't have, I don't use social media at all. It's just security was bad. In my case, that's why I'm not that active. And now I think security is better. No, in my case, I took for granted. I took for granted it was, why district. I wanted to ask you, you and Fly Energies and everyone that got hacked. Did you have like the account open 100% of the time? Because that's what I did. I said I had never had social media because I don't give a shit. I don't care about it. I think, as I've said, I think it makes human relationships um, quite shallow, quite shallow. That's why I like Twitch and YouTube and in here. But is it because you had your account like permanently open all the time, like continuously logged through the application, through Windows 10? It was back then, because that's what I did. And since that moment, I added two-factor authentication, and I don't leave the account open. I never again leave the account open. That's why I sometimes miss some messages, but I'd rather do that than that filth. I was logged out while you were online, and when I did recover the password and everything, I was sending scam. Exactly that one. It's exactly what happened to me. Exactly that. Just as you described it. Exactly as you described it. You know what happened to me? Yep, the developer of Dungeons and Dragons Dragon Shard, who was one of my first. I was feeling so, yeah. Here, I'll tell you something so you feel better. This is what happened to me, which was exactly like you. The developer of Dungeons and Dragons Dragon Shard, after following my Twitch channel, he was over there on the Discord and he loved my analysis and everything. But after that, of course, he got scared and left. I lost, as I said, as a Discord member. Sir, if you are watching, I always deeply admire your initial vote of confidence. He was in my Discord, and he of course got scared naturally. Then I wrote to him, and he said, "No, it's okay, don't worry. But it's just that that I need to please understand that he didn't want those." Well, that you feel better now, District. If you are watching, sir, I always deeply admire you, and if you're still, and if you watch it, the videos as bots, the streams as bots here, I would love you to know that thanks to the amazing community of Dragons and the rest of the friends I made along the way in Sacred 2 and the rest of the games, I made it to affiliated for watching, sir, and I would love, if there's one thing I'm deeply uh, feel bad about, you know what is District? That a lot of great people that love the reviews and everything, because of the amount of time it takes, because of how terrible discoverability is at Twitch, they still follow the channel, but they don't know that now more people visit the streams in that sense, and I feel bad for them because maybe they loved it, but they were used to more chatters. So in that sense, uh, I feel bad for them because, like, I have a person over at Discord, Kaching98, for example, that followed me. He's from Armenia. Right after the pandemic in 2021, and then visited me like 3 years after. And I feel bad that it was like, that is last year. No, not last year, the other one. And I feel bad that he couldn't see those things. That he couldn't see those things, like the channel with me. I also improved the reviews throughout time. I guess they are somehow not completely terrible. I somehow improved it, like I added gameplay when I do the final analysis and those things. So I feel bad that they couldn't see any. real improvement having visited at the beginning. But well, at least Crowbar, Pekaren, and Scarlet Dragoon, at least 3 people could get to see it. In that sense, at least 3 people could get to see it. Like that, like several years right from the beginning. So well, at least that made you feel. I didn't know it was so widespread, the problem, in that sense. So you did log out. Oh, oh. And when you recover the password, you had spam everyone. I even spammed. I even spammed the bot that took my account. You were logged out randomly. Okay, okay. N you were logged out as you were online. Ah, no. Ooh. No, in my case, yeah. Well, I had the account open all the time. Yeah, it was the same. Technically, it was the same. I had it on in the background. I had it in the background. I had it in the background. Yeah, yeah, like that. And then I wrote to them, since I had no social media, as I said, and everything. I told them, please, because I even spammed one work group, my software development work group. Fortunately, I wasn't fired from my job as a direct consequence of that. I even spammed, the bot even spammed my software development work group, like from the company here. And I, you even spam there, yeah. It grabbed all the groups. It grabbed all the groups and it spammed everyone because of that. Because of that, it spammed everyone. So yes. So first, I lost. First, I can tell you those tragedies like all day in these long 4 years, because I admit it. I was someone that didn't care. I was a I am a quite traditional individual. As I said, I had no social media, and for me, all of that was like extremely new 4 years ago in that sense. Um, so yeah, I lost. I lost. Someone that I admired, and I deeply loved him, the software developer of Dungeons and Dragons Dragon Shard. There over at Discord, that we chatted and everything about how he developed the games and those things. And then of course I deleted the whole channel, so his account wouldn't appear to precisely protect any other spamming or everything there. And also spammed the bot spammed my my coworkers, the group of my coworkers at software development, at the software development company. In that sense. So yeah. Uh, you can see that it was like two tragedies in one. That putrid spamming. That's why I now have all of the words that I see. For example, there it blocked the word followers for flying energies and the links for you. Sorry that it blocks the links for you, but I don't want any bots in the channel. Like, I want them extinct. Like, I don't like any bot, because then they also botted they botted the channel, like constantly buy followers at shit.com, buy this one. So I blocked, I grabbed the public list of bots and I blocked them all. And the worst part, the worst part, the the funny part of this is that, you know what's the excuse that they put forward? They say, we create the bots to help small streamers. No, no, you don't do that. You are a bunch of scam uh, selling the analytics to God knows who by leeching off the channels. That's why I have all of those words blocked. But the one that you told me about, the beep badges, the beep watcher badges, with that one, I will be able to select those of you who generally like placing links, and like give you a special authorization to do so, and that way I will filter the bots. That's my battle plan against them, because you have no idea. You have no idea how much. There's a reason why I have the word followers directly blocked, so it helps the message. Since I did that, not a single one appeared ever again. I think only one per year, more or less. So it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. Since I blocked specific words that they like using. Like, that's the only way. That's the only way. Otherwise, it was unbearable. Because I had a problem. I had a problem. The problem was that I had a lot of lurkers, a lot of people who just wouldn't chat, but they like watching the review, like silently, like passively, since I talk a lot, like passively watching it, and they target those channels. In that sense, they target them deliberately, precisely, because they kind of like take for granted you won't ban them, and since everything is silent, oh well, I will slowly and silently leech the analytics of the channel and sell it to Google AdSense or whatever the shit. That's the thing. That's the thing. Why I am so staunch against them, because they would destroy my concentration in a lot of cases as I was doing the analysis and those things. In a sense, and yeah, pretty much. So yeah, well, I would have never expected I wasn't the only one. I would have never expected I wasn't the only one that was like side mushroom. Side mushroom. There we go. Another side quest happily completed. So I would have never expected it was massive. So yeah, well, if it's any comfort to you, I lost a lot because of the... I lost a lot. Well, there, fortunately, I didn't get fired from my job. Oh well. In that sense. Oh well. Quite interesting. No, the other thing that I was mentioning about the exams and everything. Before any exam at law school, as I told you, they were all oral exams in front of 120 people, 100 people, all of the students basically. The exams were public, because it was like that in ancient Rome and Greece. So before that, I would one day before watch videos about space to calm myself before the exam. The last day I wouldn't study. I would use it to level up. That's one of my favorite words, or my favorite phrasal verbs in that sense. I would watch those, and it would calm me a lot. So I give it as a recommendation to anyone. First of all, practice your English, because you are forcing yourself to use different parts of the brain, and that enhances the elasticity of the brain cortex, which is quite important. It will make your brain literally more versatile. Never do drugs, of course, as I told Patrick the other day when we were chatting about that. I don't know how bad it is in your own countries, but Patrick over at Hungary and Phantom over at Greece, they told me that it's quite bad. I thought it was something like exclusive to let's say less developed countries in that sense. For example, things like Mexico or Central America. But yeah, and in that sense, practice your English, and if you are nervous about an exam, something important that you need to do, watch videos about space the day before. It will show you how minuscule, insignificant our existences are in the huge context of the universe. In that sense, it helps you give you a dimension. You know that it's not that much as to what is there in the universe as to what's the shape. The problem is more the shape, people, the ultimate shape, because the shape determines the ultimate fate of the universe. If it can infinitely expand, then the ultimate fate is getting frozen unless there's a really mysterious element that we don't know about. If the shape of the universe is like infinitely ever expanding, then the stars and the galaxies and the solar systems, they spread farther away from each other, and this is the real mystery. And the ultimate fate is an absolute dark, cold. You must be thinking, Eraser, how did that calm you before an exam? Because it's a quite pessimistic thought, or hypothetical idea to think about. Well, because it made me think how insignificant the exam was in comparison. In the case the shape is not like that, that it has a limit, then it will implode into itself and everything will burn. Well, not burn. It will get so hot that it will disintegrate technically. So that also is quite pessimistic. It's not helping. If you compare it to your exam, to your, let's say, real life obligations and everything, it makes you think, it makes you put into perspective the severity and the dimension of the problems. The severity and the dimension of the problems. This is like when, well, I'll get into a controversial topic, people. Like when modern feminism says that we men are all abusers and we are all bad people in general, or whatever, or that. See the problem. If we all men are all bad people, you know what the problem is, people? Then you cannot establish the severity, a measurement of the severity of the people who really, actually have the problem. And then it's the same. One guy that on the street, I don't know, blew a kiss to a girl that he liked, and no. That one almost is the same. Is the same as a criminal who really actually did a crime, any sexual crime or whatever. They are put, they are thrown into the same bag, and that's what I mean. Uh, I love watching videos of space because it puts things into perspective. It does a great job at that, as far as I can, as well, in my case it did that, it caused that effect, and it helps you measure the severity of the situation. Really, if you fail an exam, or you, I don't know, unless you are at a hospital fighting for your life, which would be the really severe situation, failing an exam at the end of the day, is it really that much of a tragedy? Well, of course, it's not good. You know, you won't feel perfect, but it shouldn't discourage you from enjoying life, really, in that sense. Nothing should. But it is true that it helps you establish the severity, how grave something actually is. And when I watched how big space was and that we could all get frozen or it could implode into itself, and everything would disintegrate and those things, really it helps you put into perspective how sometimes we feel as a tragedy things that really are not. Failing an exam really is not a tragedy, really. And that is, imagine, I only failed 3 out of 53, and for me it's a tragedy because of how responsible I am and those things. But it helps you put things into perspective in that sense. In that sense, I think that's a highly positive aspect of exploring. I would put it as a mandatory subject, at least, alongside physics in over at school, because of that, because it helps you put things into perspective. That's another thing. Oh, I ran out of potions. That's another thing that I admire about the United Kingdom. They have programs in which they teach students how to deal with frustration. To deal with frustration. And I think that's the problem of modern society in a lot of cases. Not being able to deal with frustration, and second, not being able to take a step back and measure the severity of the situation. Because I see a lot of, for example, uh, I understand it happened to me with the exams, as I said, but I could control it through using videos of space or whatever, it doesn't matter how. What about the Throat of Devouring? Oh, that one seems quite good. Resistance Plane? Oh, we got quite good loot there. What is it? Dexterity. I can fix that then later. Let me sell this, sell this, sell this, sell this. Poison resistance, no. That one. The legendary ones, I'll keep them. The rest, I'll sell them so we can do a quick filtering of it. There we go. Perfect. So, and the second thing is not being able to measure the severity of a situation. In my case, it was failing an exam, but nowadays it's even worse. For example, not receiving the approval of, I don't know. This generally happens to girls more than us boys. Not receiving the approval of, or the attention of girls over at TikTok or Instagram or whatever, or social media. Is it really that bad? Is it really that severe as a situation for the person? Is there an... Oh, those are some nice, interesting vertex cache explosions there. Or is it just that the sticks are way too big? I think that one... No, that one is definitely a vertex explosion. Nice! Nothing like a nice vertex explosion like in the early 2000s. Is it really that much of a problem? Really? Is it... My question would immediately be for that person. Is someone you... Are you or someone you love over at a hospital fighting for his life? No. Or it happens to us a lot with pets. For example, when they lose, when eventually a doggy or a little kitty dies. Alright, yes, it's a tragedy, and I understand perfectly that you love the animal and everything. And the pet and everything, and I bet you all love your pets. But really, is there a human life being lost, like yours, your parents, your grandparents? Those are really severe situations. And I see that in a lot of cases, in the case of the pet, it's another life, so it's more understandable. But still, a human life. I think we don't value... Human life is not valued enough in comparison, in that sense. Is there someone like the ones I mentioned, you or any other person you love, fighting for his life? Are human lives being lost that you love personally? No. Then I don't mean that you don't take care of the situation. Take care of it, but measure the severity of it. If you don't get attention over at Instagram or whatever, or I don't know, even losing a pet, even losing a kitty or a dog, well, at the end of the day, it's not your father, it's not your mother, it's not your grandfather, it's not your grandmother, at the end of the day. And, like, you cannot reason with the person cannot tell the pet cannot tell you that he loves you, that it loves you. You know what? I'm curious. How did you find Twitch? Really, this trick? You are curious about it? Why would you be curious about it? Yeah, I can tell you. How I found about Twitch? Because I don't like social media. Because I love video games. How I found it? Well, through first off, I liked history documentals about the gaming industry over at YouTube, and when Twitch was announced, it was already there. I found it in 2021 because one streamer in Spanish, um, did long ago, 2021, did it, and while I didn't watch the any other streamers in Spanish anymore, I discovered the idea, and I was right. I was about to get out of law school, precisely, and basically, because you're a teacher and you said lawyer too, usually people like you don't know about these platforms. Yes, yes, I know. I was right. I'm a lawyer, but I didn't work as a lawyer, district, as I said. I graduated and that's it. Well, it has to do with my life basically. I I was about to graduate. I was in my not even in my last year. I was in um my last exam. Like I'm sure if you're telling to any teacher you know about Twitch, he have no idea what it is. No, yeah, it is like that. It is like that. It is like that. It is like that. Yes, of course. I think there's a huge disparity between us. Well, first of all, I'm younger in that sense. I'm 29. I'm relatively younger than most, let's say, traditional teachers. I would be like a millennial in that sense. Then I was writing my last exam out of law school. It was even my last year. It was my last exam. We're talking about 2018, and I like playing video games offline, like since birth, right? Like since birth, like 100% from right from 1998. So I said I'm already analyzing the games in my head. I loved analyzing games in my head, but alone, like offline, like my own thoughts. It was me and my own thoughts, like confined in my mind as I played the game, and I thought, oof, this is I didn't do it with the explicit words that I use on stream to make the ideas as clear as possible, with the crazy metaphysics that I talk about and everything, that I learned over at law school. But I thought, this implementation of this level design was terrible, etc. And I thought uh, it would be nice if I could share it with people because I also saw that, I'm sorry, I believe that in a lot of cases, stupidity and mediocrity are spread 100%. This is the, let's say, more uh, apathetic, let's say, the more, uh, uh, let's say, melancholic side of my personality. Okay, now makes sense how you find it. I start to understand, like my more, um, it's like my more melancholic, the more melancholic side of my personality. Uh, I spent a lot of years locked up reading books, be it law, English, metaphysics. I had, as you can, well, you can see that I had a subject that I love over at law school, that was metaphysics, because I went to a Roman Catholic university and a Roman Catholic high school, secondary school for me, the same. They just have different naming conventions. And I was in my very last year, so it was pretty much, we're talking about 2018. I had to sit for the final subject that was brutal over at law school, which was administrative law, and I wanted to take a rest. Of course, my career took 5 continuous years in which I didn't play a single video game. Like from 2014, like from 2015 to 2018, more or less 4 or 5 years, 5 years, 5 years. 2013, sorry, 2013 to 2018. There we go. That is, well, 5 years without touching a video game. The last one I touched precisely was Star Wars: New Republic back in 2015, precisely. As you can see, you can see that the dates match in 2015. So 5 years without touching. But when I say not a single one, I mean that it was the only ones that I touched were some very few here on my 3DS, like only in the months in which I had in which they were like the summer break, like the summer break. Here it is in the opposite as in the northern hemisphere. It's in December and January, except for those 2 months in which I played only Heroes of the Storm and some on my 3DS that I used my time to investigate about the 3DS because I didn't have really time to play. You can imagine what would happen to you if you spent 5 years without touching a video game because you're responsible. Because I was highly responsible in that sense. What I told you, I may have a lot of defects. District, I have a lot of defects. Precisely, I'm not very as I told you that I have no social media. I'm not very. I don't let ev anyone get into my life easily. Let's say I'm quite reserved in that sense, in like face to face, and, and even more the second I say that the second the person wants to like speak to me about knowledge and I start talking about metaphysics and that also sometimes intimidates people. It's not my intention, but it happens sometimes face to face. Uh, Imagine if you spent 5 years without touching any serious video game. I was like a lion, like caged. I really, as I mentioned to you several times, that is hard. It was like that. So 2018, but it doesn't end there. So that was I finished my low career. So I wanted to take a rest. I did take a rest of 1 year. It was half of 2018. So 1 year and a half. It finished 2018 finished. Besides, there's the case that I mentioned that my grandma was alive back then, up until 2021. The problem was that precisely my grandma had Alzheimer. You know, the illness in which you start forgetting about things. She was 90. She made it to 93 in that sense, to 93. She was 91, 92. So 2018, and even if I could take a rest from law school, then me and my parents we had to like sustain support my grandmother until she ended up passing away after the pandemic in 2021. But from 2018, 2019, 2020, and then 2021 when she finally passed away, we like took the burden of dealing with that. Why? You must be thinking it must sound quite weird to you because in Italian tradition, you know that I'm Argentine, but in Italian Spanish tradition, the two countries that derived directly from the Roman Empire that never got independent or aggressive with it that but embraced it are Spain and Italy directly. Romania as well. Romania as well, but like directly descending from it, and it's quite accentuated the 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 family as the base of society. So, for example, I am an only child. I grew up with my living with my parents, but also my grandparents in that sense. So, for me, it wasn't like a normal grandmother or a normal grandfather when I lost them in that sense, because they were like a second set of parents, really, because I grew up with them as well. So, it's a long story because you need all of this context that after I got rid of the burden of not playing games for 5 years, then for 3 more years, I had to kind of like, yeah, it's a long story. Then for 3 more years, while I could play the games, we still had to deal with that. So really, I didn't have a complete rest like personally. So bet you can see what I told to Patrick the other day that even if your family is upper middle class, you can still suffer stress. Don't think that money will solve every problem in life in that sense, because it doesn't. It really, really, really doesn't. in that sense. I hope you never quit YouTube or gaming again. I didn't quit. That's the problem. I didn't want to quit. I had to do it because it was my responsibility. And I had to graduate because I wanted to be an educated individual. And even if I knew that I would never work as that, I wanted to be an educated member of society because of personal responsibility. It's not that I quit. I didn't quit. And then after 2021, when I dealt with my obligations at law school, then we all accompanied my grandmother until her final resting minutes. I kept her alive. Thumbs up. Yeah, yeah, pretty much. During the pandemic, she survived the pandemic. She made it to 2021, at least. Um, After all of that, I started streaming in 2021, if I'm not mistaken. It may be more than 4 years. It could be that yeah, but I was doing tests basically the first year. It was pretty much tests in that sense. So yeah, 4 years. I did some tests by the end of 2020, but it was 4 years pretty much. 4 years. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Pretty much. In that sense, and really you can see why, coming from all of that accumulated stress of 5 years uh, plus then two until the pandemic, you can see that after that I really didn't care if no one watched me. I really didn't care. I did it to share what I love doing after a long period of time. If you watch my first streams, the very first over at YouTube, you can see that first of all my English wasn't that good because I hadn't practiced in 4 years. That's the problem. It's not that I hadn't graduated. I already had the certificate in advanced English. The problem was that I had to stop speaking in English because of how intensive the law career was. Like everything that you see that I talk about and everything, it took a huge sacrifice and a huge toll out of me. I must admit it. So, but I wanted to be like as educated as I could possibly be, because well, another aspect is that well, um, the main income of my family really does not come from what I do. Like it comes from condo management. My family manages condos, apartments, like blocks of apartments. Like someone has to manage how to, for example, um, do the accountability. My parents are both accountants, precisely, and they do condo management, and I will eventually have I will have the huge responsibility eventually when they grow older, as I'm an only child, to take care of that as well. So since I have so many responsibilities, I really don't have time time to socialize, to chat with all of you. That's why I appreciate you that much, because my life has been so far full of knowledge of reading the books and everything. But when you read so many books, it might end up being a bit solitary. But I had one good, if I had one virtue, was that I was always aware of it. And I said, once I'm done with this, I will make sure I go back to do what I love, even if it's for 3 hours or 4 hours twice a week only. It doesn't matter. The few time I have, in that sense, I will do it because I don't like that I'm not doing and sharing a hobby activity that I love, which is playing the video games. But you can see why I was absolutely immune to streaming alone and I keep chatting and whatever, because I enjoyed genuinely sharing what I love, compared to reading books constantly, which I also appreciate. It's not that I'm unthankful for all of the knowledge, because now I can share it with all of you for whatever it may be useful in life, the things I say, in that sense, when I start talking about metaphysics and those things. But even if I'm thankful, it takes responsibility and a strong will to face 1,000 pages book, not one after the other, one after the other, and one after the other, constantly. I had to study history of Europe, of course. I had to study local history of Argentina. I even had to study a bit of history of the United States in that sense. So I had to read so much that compared to that, I wanted to return to another activity that I love, which was playing the video games, in that sense. So I hope you never quit. Sorry, I got lost in thought again, District. When it's like that, you never hesitate to interrupt me when I start chatting about my crazy. But well, I think well, now you have the context why I maybe, because for you it was quite curious how I found like this hobby of streaming in that sense. It was because of that long story in that sense. It's a huge context. See that it had a lot of variables that was like that. And then now, besides teaching English, I learned about software developing, and that is much better for my style, and I like it much more, and I like it much more. So yeah, but still, as I've said, the huge responsibility of my life will be taking care of the family business as only child. Like, I will be alone in that sense, and I need to, and this helps me decompress any tension derived from that, any pressure derived from that. The same teaching English and those things. They are things that economically they don't contribute that much, but they don't contribute that much economically, but they make me feel good. They make me feel good, really, chatting with all of you, meeting other people like you and the rest that I see that also played games and your own life experiences. For me, it's irreplaceable, because as I've said, I'm quite because of the activities that I do, books irreversibly cause you to have a solitary life in that sense. Do you think that there are more people like you who are doing metaphysical? No, it's impossible, District. It's impossible because, well, we can talk about the reason why I'm telling you this. You're interested in the stories related to my school of thought. It can be a rather complex explanation, but if you'd like, it's about history. No problem. I don't think there will ever be anyone remotely similar, because first, the person would need. Let's hear it. Okay. First, the person would need to be a realistic scholastic philosopher. You know that in order to be a scholastic philosopher, first of all, it's an eminently conservative stance in the modern context. Why? Because my school of thought, Thomas Aquinas, was a Dominican friar that lived in the medieval period.